Start talking, it's fucking what you call it. I mean, start talking, it's muted. Morning, guys. What's going on? I will apologise now because I've just woke up, man, and I suffer with wind, my bad. It's not fucking funny, it's killing me, man. So if you hear any mad noises, it'll probably be. I don't know why I do that, man, because I'm not gonna like. If you hear any mad noises, it's probably, man. Don't say I told you. Here's Bella. She skimmed straight past. Good morning, Mr. Beautiful Blues. So, we've got a good one this morning, I believe. And keep on pen out OJ Glockenstock.
Is that actually a thing, or is it taking the piss?
Why do you want to drink my coffee?
I don't, because it's got sugar in it.
Oh man, fucking stomach's killing me, man. Just need to let go. Let it go. Let it go. Right, so what we're gonna do right here is we're gonna start as we mean to go on. So, guys, 5 things. Fucking 5. Can we do 5 this morning, guys? 5 things that we're grateful for. Now I'm probably gonna struggle. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys, I couldn't help that. Like I told you, my stomach was fucking killing me, man. That was bad, that wasn't it, man?
You could have leant the other way, arsehole.
I did. I went that way.
No, you didn't.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
It just looks as though I never, because you're watching the computer, man. Look, because when I go that way, look, it goes that way. When I go to sea, told
You
ya.
got blue off the sea.
Stomach's killing me though. I'm not was all I need.
No, we
I'm
were
not
just
was all.
on time, Mr. Beautiful Blues, for once.
5 things, yeah, man. So 5 things. Are we then? One in the chat if we should do 5 things we're grateful for this morning.
You
Darren,
start
you'll
then.
need to stop eating late at night. I know. But I haven't ate late last night, did I? I didn't. I was doing a video, a premiere, to let it go. I wasn't eating late last night. I was falling asleep in bed. But all right,
Hiya,
Jerry.
Jerry.
So 5 things that we're grateful for. 5 things. 1, I'm grateful for having a lady beside my side, like now. I'm grateful for yous.
Morning Night Podcast.
Morning, mate. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for me family, like me extended family. I'm grateful for the dogs. Fucking 5 things off the belt there, man. Go on. Now, listen, if you don't want to do it in the chat, you know what? You know how it goes. Get that down, man. You know how it goes.
For me.
With that, baby. Visualize. I keep folding my leg like that, man. I'm not doing that. Right, go on then, babe. 5 things you're grateful for. Come on.
So, I'm grateful for me dogs, because they love having a snuggle, and I had a nice snuggle with them both this morning.
What, when I was asleep?
Yeah. I'm grateful for having a house. Grateful for having food in the cupboards. I'm grateful for all you guys in the chat who were all lovely and supportive, and I think we are building something special here. How many is that for? I'm grateful
Come on, don't stumble on the last one.
to be alive.
5 off the bounce. Right, let's have a look. I'm grateful for my family, my home, dogs, food on the table, addiction allowed to help others. Well, I respect. Come on, guys, get 5 things in the. And if you can't do 5 things, 3 will do. I couldn't do fucking 5 things when I first got asked to start doing this kind of carry on.
I got told I had to start with 10. I was like, what?
I know, we've been quite lenient.
Yeah.
I'm saying 2. We're up to 5. We're taking it up, man. We're taking it up. Taking it up. I don't know whether to let my hair grow or what, guys. I'll just get it fucking cut. I was going to get it cut last night before I go on the show, and then I thought, you know what? I might have a sudden change in mood. Now someone's walking over my grave. I wonder who that is.
Waking up, my dog, my family. my new friends, and I'm actually losing weight. Go on, Andy. Well done.
Where's Andy? I'm grateful for waking up, my dogs, my family.
I just
Go on,
family
man.
crazy and I'm still alive.
So,
My ham sandwich, the book I'm reading, that spring is around the corner,
go
and
on.
for the magic of coffee.
Yeah, man, we love coffee. Fucking hell, I haven't even put coffee on, man. I'll say 6 anyway, I'm grateful.
And spring is around the corner.
Yeah, man, the sun's shining and the sky's blue here. And I've had a lad come up to me, a lad who fucking knows fighting with. Gives a big hug now on that man, mister. Fucking head smashed.
Morning, Paul.
Yeah, he wants to come out with us, man. He wants to come out with us. Been his fucking friend since 11, you know.
Morning,
no,
Lordy.
since fucking, yeah, about 11. I've known him a little bit longer than I've known Nutter. I know him more than Nutter though, because I knocked about with him. But anyway, yeah, he wants to come out with us. Are we, Lordy? 5 things we're grateful for, mate. If you don't want to do it in the chat for me and tell me, Lordy. No, 5 things you're grateful for, kid. If you don't want to do it in the chat, visualise it, man. Miss Mallow,
Nigel.
morning. 5 things we're grateful for, guys. 5 things we're grateful for. I'm going to look after friend at me. Don't tell him. I'm going to make sure he's alright, man, you know that. Telling you. I want to go and see you, man. I want to come and see you, mate. I can't do fucking jabba jabba. Can't do that, man. But I do want to come and see you, kid. On that plane, touching down in fucking Trinidad and Tobago, man. I don't want to say on my roads, man.
I'd like to
Fuck the
go
roads.
for they have that carnival there, don't they?
Yeah, they have the carnival, man. We'll take it to carnival. We live like kings, man. We live like fucking kings and queens. Fella, what you doing? Trying to come through the window for you? It's all, oh, Belbo. I went upstairs. What did I go upstairs for? I went upstairs for something. Busted straight behind me and straight in Kingston's bed on my bedroom, straight on the bed. I wanted to go in the house and I was like, no, move it. Right, what we're going to do, guys, is we've got quite an exciting lab this morning. I'm going to get... Yeah, talking to the devil. I was just going to say, they're not torturing us. Fellas don't really torture you, apart from fucking... I'm doing that. Don't have it, babe, please. Do you want me to do it?
Okay.
Oh, it's fucking cold, man. I swear down I'm going to train Bella. Bella's getting trained to close the door, but you're training. Try me hardest to train her, close that door. And if anyone can do it, Bella can. I'm going to start training Bella, you know. Sun's out today. I might start today. It's fucking buster, man. They start getting jealous of each other. I'm doing okay, man. Anyone else? I don't like cats, mate, but they're intelligent cats, you know. I don't like them, like, don't like them.
I got
What was that?
just a notification.
Fuck me. I've lost my fucking charger.
My mum's cat's a bit crazy.
Yeah, you fucking flung it at me.
I didn't fling it, that sounds horrible.
Fucking Mason threw it at me like I was like, whoa, wasn't even looking. Fucking paws out like that. Was it you? No, it was Mason, wasn't it?
But yeah, you can like, she'll come up to you for a stroke and that, and you'll be stroking her and she'll be purring and that. Next thing you know, she's attacking you and biting you.
Fuck that, and fucking Mason's like throwing the cat at me. Catch, fuck off, catch. I wouldn't hurt one more. I wouldn't hurt any animal. I even catch spiders and fucking throw them out the window. Like, let them loose. Let them loose. Right, we're going to put the link up for Amanda. So what's going to happen today, guys? Now I'm looking forward to it. Yes, Amanda's coming up. But don't be fooled, because not Amanda who's going to be talking, guys. So there's the link, Amanda. Chris, when you're ready. Let's get it done. We'll go till 12 o'clock, 12 today. Probably I might not even go on the woman chat anyway. I don't want to put it a premiere. Should have just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Amanda's husband, Mr. Beautiful Blues.
Yeah, and
Hi, Ninja.
Evie, give me two. You're gonna have to give me half an hour, Evie. I'll bring it on for now till they come up.
Hi, Ninja.
Evie, good morning. Give me two. What am I?
Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
Morning, Evie. Are you all right?
Yeah. Just awake. Look, I'm just awake. So
Right. Well, Evie, the plan of action this morning is we've got Amanda and Chris, and Chris is going to share his story,
Thank you.
and then after that, can I bring you back up after that, Evie?
No problem, because I understand and I was there. So I was there in chat when it all happened. I was in both chats. Thank you. I was late in both chats when it happened. I was there.
Yeah. No, we're
Yeah.
not doing that this morning. We're doing that at 12 o'clock, Evie.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to put you backstage, Evie.
Darling. No, thank you. It's nice to see you.
Oh no, yeah, Evie. Listen,
Later.
I've got loads of respect for you, man, Evie, because you tell it how it is, mate.
We had Barney. We had a good laugh when it happened.
Didn't we, mate? Didn't we? You'll know me.
I'm just awake, so I don't need to be on or nothing. I'm just, I have something to say about my case, important, but that's separate. Yeah.
Okay then, mate. Right, well, I'll put you backstage for now, Evie, though. Stay, and then we'll bring you back.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
And we'll bring you back up, Evie, yeah?
All right. I'm only just awake, sorry. Yeah.
No, you don't have to be sorry, mate. No sorry's needed round here, my friend. All right? I'll catch you in a bit then, Evie, yeah?
Thank you.
Respect, my mate.
You know it.
Graham.
Right, morning, Manda. Morning, Chris.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Are you all right?
Oh, yeah. We're always all right here, I think.
Good. I've took quite a little chance. You, Chris, and you haven't even spoken to you properly yet, mate. But yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to this morning. And yes, there was
I don't think it'll shock a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's what happens, and it's not just me. There's other people had far worse, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
at the end of the day, but it's there. It affects the person themselves more than, you could probably imagine. And the thing is, every case is individual. So, people that's being abused and things like that, they still suffer the same, but obviously it's worse in their case,
Yeah, because it happened to them and they're feeling it, aren't they? They're feeling their feelings, man. So listen, over to you, if and when you're ready, mate, and just keep yourself safe is what I'd say, though.
Yeah, mate, I'm not going to go to that. Not that I don't need to. Right, well, basically, when I was born with a cleft lip. Probably a lot more issues that back in 1972 they didn't understand. And from day one get-go, it were a disaster. My mother, bless her soul, she tried her hardest, but she was struggling under her circumstances. She was a good mother. She was a caring mother, but I don't think she was in the right platform and frame of mind at the time when I was born. She got a lot going on in the background. But we plodded on for the first couple of years. When I was 3, even though I was totally out of control, and I mean proper out of control, even from the first, get-go, I was out of control. The only way they could shut me up when I were a kid was feed me goat's milk. That's the only way. Otherwise, I'd scream the house down. Now, my mum and dad divorced when I was 3. My dad went to live with another woman. My mother, she sort of kept going for it about a year, and then she met this other guy. Now, this other guy was a ex-sergeant major out of army. He was working, he got a bit of backbone to probably get up and work and et cetera, et cetera. but he was brutal. When I say brutal, you couldn't sneeze without something going off. And in my situation at the time, I was absolutely off the rails. So you can imagine, the sort of effect you get by bringing somebody like that into your life at the same time. I can remember back from an early age of hiding in corner at room, Artery's way behind bed. If my mother went out to say bingo on a Saturday with my grandma, I'd scream the house down for her to stay, basically. And there were nothing you could do at that sort of age, so you just had to go along with it. Occasionally, everything were all right, but sometimes, it weren't. I was beaten black and blue on several occasions. Snooker cues right back at head, kick right garden, absolutely slaughtered, and that's no exaggeration. School-wise, at this point, nobody understood me at school. I was different to everybody, absolutely everybody at school. They looked at me as some sort of alien. I couldn't make friends at school. The only thing I made every school I met, probably on first day as well, were enemies. Because nobody could understand that I spoke my voice. I said how it is. And they didn't like it. They all grouped around, and obviously you're picked on, you're bullied. And I just lost control at every situation. There were no messing about. I got to town, and the anger and everything that I'd got built up inside me for all the bullying, what were happening at home and everything else, I let go. And I absolutely went to town on these kids. You know what I mean? So every school I went to, I was kicked out within the first couple of weeks. I had probably 16 schools in 16 years. I never actually learned anything at school apart from probably a bit of physics, science, because they're the sort of things that I liked. Nothing else. Now, when I got to 7, even though I was still in and out of schools and nobody could understand, I went to that many people and they said, oh, he's just a bad kid. You know what I mean? He'll sort his son out and punish him, do this, that, and other, as if I weren't getting enough punishment. You know what I'm saying? My mum got cancer when I was 7. Now, she had her breast off, and we thought it were all go, which brought me and my mum a lot closer, and I think she did start to understand a little bit this behaviour weren't normal. But the beatings and everything still carried on with stepfather. He actually wanted to adopt me at one point, but my proper father wouldn't allow it. I seen him once a week on a Saturday. We'd go out in lorry together because he was a lorry driver. And then he owned his shop. So we hung out in the shop and that. My dad were always 100%. My dad's family were always 100%.
Go on.
Anyway, I got to 12 and my proper dad came into my bedroom and said, look, we need to sit down because there's something I've got to tell you. So I says, right, go on then. That's me. And he says, your mum's only got a year to live. She got secondary cancer and they've been treating her a long time for arthritis and things like that. And it had gone into her bones, her legs, everything. And obviously, that were it. Now, at 13, she did pass away. And, you know, that threw me for a proper wobbly. I mean, that took my head clean off the rails. As you can imagine, things weren't good to start with. I was forced to see my mother at chapel arrest by my stepfather. That was the most horrifying thing I could ever do at 13-year-old. You know, I shouldn't have had to do that, but, you know, I touched her and my hand just, I couldn't, you know what I mean? It was just so traumatic. Anyway, I was still living with my stepfather. My dad was living with another woman at this point. At an house that they bought together. I was still seeing my dad, but my stepdad went out to work. I'm just getting a drink. My stepfather went out to work and used to leave me with key and not come back. And every time he'd come back, I'd have to do washing, everything you could think of, because he treated me like his slave.
Bastard.
Within a fortnight of my mum dying, he got another woman, and he spent more time there than he did. I spent nights on my own.
Bastard.
Let me just say, social workers was informed of all this. They did record all the bruises and marks all over me, and they didn't want to do nothing at the time. He admitted to it at social services, and when I was 10 years old, I went into a boarding school. I missed this bit out. The boarding school were only for a year, but that was probably one of the best years of my life.
Oh, man.
You know, when I was 10. They had time for you and everything else, but I'm gonna go back now. So sorry about that, folks, but I did miss that one because I were a bad kid, unruly. They put me in this boarding school, which I didn't mind. I missed my mum a lot because obviously I was there all week and only went back for a day at weekends. But you know, it was just one of them things, and they understood there was something wrong. But all the kids there had got the same problems as I got, or similar. So I blended in. It was the only school I ever blended in, you know. Anyway, back at 13, when all this went off, like I say, he got himself another woman. You'd see him, you know, once or twice, and I was left to fend for myself and everything else. My grandma lived not too far away, my granddad, so I would be able to go and get something to eat there, and you know, and what have you. So it weren't too bad on that score. You see, nobody ever agreed with what were happening. They all knew what were happening with him, but they sort of, I don't know, went tight-lipped for my mum's, you know, at the time when she were alive, sake, because they knew that if, you know, they opened their mouth and said out, then that'd be it. I was completely off the rails, like I say, doing everything that I shouldn't do at that age and more. Fights just constantly, you know. I were in more fights than you could ever imagine because I just didn't like people at that point, you know. I'd completely gone off at rails. And anyway, I kept running away. I'd had enough on it, and I went to my grandma's on my dad's side, not on my mum's side, who lived local, but on my dad's side. And I kept telling them, now, my dad had a lot of brothers who were well known in their area for being rough and tough. Anyway, I opened up to him, and he he did give him a pasting, believe it or not. You know, he went to town on him because he didn't know half of it. And he thought he'd smooth things over, so I'd go back, and it'd all occur again. It got to the point with the stepfather, right, that one day we're on back garden, we had a fish pond, and I can always remember it. He started on me in that back garden like you'll never imagine, and I lost it. I snapped. Even at that age, you know, I'd snapped with him, and I smacked him and knocked him clean in fish pond. And from that point on, things started deteriorating mentally as well. So I kept going back to my grandma's, and my dad finally said, you know, well, we're going to have to sort this out. Now, my dad, at that point, the woman he was living with didn't want kids. But he felt that it were his duty to have me and sort me out. So he split up with her. He lost a lot of money on his house that they were buying. We moved into a little flat. Well, we didn't actually. We moved to my uncle's first, and then we went and moved into a flat once we got the flat. And then we finally got a little house, which belonged to a family member. And, you know, things were all right, but I was still off at rails. There was just too much baggage there just to let it go. My dad were too easygoing in the respect. He'd seen what had happened to me in the past and didn't really want to step into anything in the future because he was scared that it could send a bad reaction from me. So he, like I say, we got there and I got in with wrong crowd and we started robbing buildings. We started doing all sorts of things like that. I never ever picked on an individual, ever. It was always a company or something like that. I got, you know, police on my case. They never got me for anything at that time, but they did arrest me when I was 15. I were. Two detectives came, 12 o'clock in daytime. I'd just come home from school, and they arrested me. Obviously, underage, should have had somebody with me, locked me up, and accused me of breaking into a pub and stealing fag machine, believe it or not, everything out on it. The thing were, I knew I'd not done it, but somebody, quarter of a mile up road with bifocal glasses, seen me go through this window that I couldn't have even fit through. So this is what they run with, and they tried everything. Now, this is why I got into auditing, because the corruption was absolutely unbelievable. They did actually get the person who did it eventually, but I never got an apology, nothing. They locked me up for hours. So it, you know, it started balls rolling from there. Coppers obviously got it in for me. So every time I were out or anything else, they'd pull me for anything. They try having me for suspicion of theft from and of motor vehicles. That got through out of court. They got no evidence. They tried everything.
Bastards.
You know, and it weren't the sort of thing that I really needed, although I probably put myself in that position of being with this one person that, you know, were well known. You know, so, but they shouldn't have acted how they did at the time. Now, I went through, when I got to 16, I went through countless amounts of, girlfriends and things like that. Never could settle with anything. I were moving all the time. I were in car parks with lads with cars, and, you know, I were basically unruly. If somebody said anything to me or did anything, I just wouldn't let it go, and until it got to the absolute banger of a situation. I then met Amanda. I'd already met her when I were 16, but we were obviously too young at that point to get into anything like that. We just met for a drink and that. And she probably thought I was a bit of a dick, to be honest with you. You know, but we carried on writing to each other. Not that I could write properly, so everything she got to understand me writing because I spelt it how it sounded. Because obviously I couldn't write properly, dyslexia and everything. But she carried on, and I got with other women. I had one take me for a mug, cleared house out while I were at work. She had a kid. She lost the kid because the only reason that she kept the kid was because she was with me due to a previous relationship. But everything's done for a reason, I suppose. Like I say, I met Amanda. We went steady for a few months. And over years, she's gradually calmed me down.
Go on.
And don't get me wrong, we've had some situations. But, you know, we've managed to iron them out.
Go on.
As it went on, I started to feel that there was still something wrong with me. I didn't know what it were. I couldn't communicate with people properly. I was in jobs. I started work at 15. I was working at a window company making window frames. I went on. I'd never been without a job at that point. I did security work. I'd done, you name it. I'd probably done it in that, bricklaying. But they never lasted 5 minutes because there was always an argument there, and bang, job had gone. On to the next one, which back then you could do that. You know, you can't now. And it's a lot harder to get a job. Moving on, I got a job as a forensic, the sort of best job I ever had, a forensic domiciliary care worker. That's dealing with people, if people don't know, with criminal mental health.
Go on, mate. Go on, you.
I managed that job for about 2 to 3 years, but I was blagging it all the time. I was blagging it, because I couldn't, the forms that they needed me to fill in for police and things like that, it were all too much. It were overwhelming. And some of the service users that were there, some of the crimes they'd done, I could not relate with. And it made me mad. And I always wanted to say something, but you couldn't, you know. So I was getting more and more wound up with this. And then there were certain things happening at home because I was there with the kids and different things and other people. It got to the point whereas I just blew. I had a mental breakdown. I had a severe panic attack on way to work. I crashed 4x4 straight through an edge bottom because I passed out. I hyperventilated. And then I was took to hospital because originally they thought I'd had an heart attack because my heart rate, my blood pressure and everything was so abnormal. Anyway, I got released from there, and ever since then, this was 2013, we've been trying to find out what's been happening. So I've been under psychologists. I have had voices in my head since I was a kid. And I've heard people like family members that's passed on and things like that. And I've thought to myself, you know, it's probably just one of them things. They call it schizophrenia. right? But it's borderline. They say because I don't talk back to them. Believe it or not, this is just crazy. But then they realised that there are other things wrong, and at the good old age of 46, they decided to do all our tests, which this should have been done years before. But obviously, when I was a kid, there weren't these tests. And they found out that I got Asperger's syndrome. I was borderline schizophrenic, split personality disorder, but not severe, and countless other things like ADHD and things like that jumped into the equation. Even though, you know, I weren't diagnosed with that, but they, you know, did bring it up as being a possibility. But I will say this: if it weren't for Amanda, I would have been dead. There's no question about it. I wouldn't have had my 3 lovely kids.
Go on, mate.
I would have been dead. I would have been strung up somewhere. Something would have happened, or, you know, I'd have got into that fight that didn't finish good. But, you know, by using her perception, this were all new to her. She hadn't got a clue about none of this. She was brought up in a countryside, with no houses around her, you know, big house, all the rest of it. Her family never accepted me because I was completely different, and it weren't what they wanted for her daughter. You know, so they never ever accepted me, even though I tried my hardest to do things for them. I tried everything, you know. I went to farm sales and fetched things back, and I did all sorts. But that's by the by, you know. Well, that's about it, really. And all I can say to people out there now who's got kids that's acting like this, don't brush it off. Don't say, oh, it's a bad kid. Just get the tests, get it all sorted, because it is really hard work. And I don't mean to swear, but I mean this when I say it will fuck your life up.
Go on.
You know, I mean, things is nice at minute. I've learned to control myself. I can, you know, control situations. I tend to, you know, if I'm on a, not on a panel, but on a live watching it, and things kick off to a certain degree, I just switch it off, you know, and that way I'm not going to get frustrated.
Yeah.
And it don't build up inside me. Obviously, now I'm on medication and different things to help me. I've never done drugs, never ever once. I've had alcohol, and I have had alcohol to a stage where I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't touch it then from age of 18. So, you know, I realised that weren't the avenue to go for me.
Well done.
You know? But waking up in somebody's garden in the morning at 10 a.m. naked, right, on a main road is enough to tell you that you don't need to drink. You know, and that's it. I hope that finished off with a bit of a smile to people. Well, thanks for listening to my story, and I hope other people, if they do have children and they watch this live back, and they're acting any way near the way I was acting, you know, it gets worse when you're through school. I mean, I blew science lab up. Mandy can remember that because she was at the same school as me, and she can remember me blowing it up. I had a teacher that were always on my case, so I set a firework off under his chair.
Go on, mate.
You know, it's things like this that, you know, people wouldn't do in a normal world, but to somebody who's got autism or something like that, it might seem pretty plausible. You know, it's not out of character. And people that speak the mind, there's not many people with autism that lie
Yeah.
because they can't lie. You can tell. You know, you can tell straight away. So there we go. But I'll hand it back to you, Torbs. And it's very nice for you to come up and say me thing. Like I say, for anybody listening, my life is now sorted to a point. You know, I've still got to backle things that I've backled all my life. But hey, you know, you learn, it gets easier. It really does. When you've got somebody that understands around you, you know. And now we've got my son. We're exactly the same situation. But because we knew the situation with my son, we could look out for them points.
Yeah.
And we've led him in the right way now. He's an absolute brain box.
Go on.
I mean, he's far more intelligent than I've ever been. But I learnt more when I left school than I did at school. I got 4 A levels in electronics, and
Go on,
you know, I'm a qualified electrician. I've got all my papers and everything, and you know,
mate.
amateur radio operator. I've got all my gear set up, towers, masts, everything. You know, I'll show you one day. We'll put camera on and show them you all. You'll be shocked. Yeah, it looks like Cape Canaveral around here. But anyway, I'll put you back to Amanda, and thanks everybody, and stay safe.
And thank you for sharing all that with us. Yeah, powerful stuff, isn't it? And
no problem. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is people that's a lot worse than that. You know, like I have missed some stuff out that were
real shit.
Proper off the rail stuff, but it was far too graphic to put on here, to be honest. And I didn't want to put myself at arm's length of the law.
Yeah, definitely. We always recommend people keep themselves safe, but
exactly
that place where nobody understood and there wasn't that help available to succeed in a way you have, it just goes to show that it's possible, you know. And just because you do have issues in mental health doesn't mean you can't achieve.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, people with mental health aren't stupid by any means.
Ah, no.
Go on, mate. That's the one, isn't it?
I know,
they are very intelligent. In fact, some people with autism, I'm not saying me, but I'm saying some people are very, very intelligent. Look at Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know,
the borderline geniuses, they say, don't they?
Definitely.
Allegedly. I wouldn't call myself a genius, though. But I could have been if I'd had right directions from a younger age.
Yeah.
I was the first person to create the Vax. Right? Nobody understands this, but I did it. You know, Mr. Vax wouldn't have been in business if I were a bit older when I created it. I mean, I were in the, you know, teething area of creating it. It did blow up when I sucked all water out at the sink with Hoover. Right idea. You know what I mean?
Go on, mate.
It would have worked. Right, I'll put you back to Amanda anyway. Love to you all, folks.
Thanks, man.
And take it easy.
And I identified with you straight away, man. Straight away from the start. You know, man getting with another man. He wasn't so much violent, as in fucking violent, but he was brutal, telling us what to do. And I was only 10, and he hadn't been long. And I remember said something about the remote. I think it was the first remote control telly we had, and I'd said pass the remote, or he said pass it. I was like, get up and get it yourself. And he told me to go to bed. My bed was downstairs because we lived in a maisonette. I was like, no, and he's tried to start fucking flinging me down the stairs. So what it is, I just lashed him. And from then, I kept lashing as well. And I remember when he said, when your mum was going to bingo, well, my mum was fucking at the bingo fucking all the time. 2 minutes, JJ, I'll bring you in a second, my mate. And I used to hate it because I knew what was happening. I knew what was going to happen. So then what it is, it went from, if he's fucking picking on my sisters as well, then I'm going to lash him as well. And I start lashing teachers as well from the age of about 8. Definitely. I believe I had mental health all the way back then. Well before I was diagnosed and went to see any psychiatrist. You know, that split personality, mate. But I just say it because I'm a Gemini, but it's not. I'm dangerous. I'm fucking dangerous, man. JJ, I'm going to bring you in. I don't know where Evie's gone. Evie, are you still about? Yes, he is. I can see the shoulder. Do you want me to bring it on, Evie, yeah? JJ, are you there?
Yep, I'm here, mate. I'm just waiting for you. Yeah. Chris,
Can I-
before I start even saying anything, I just want to big you
Give
up
us
big time for having the courage to do what you just done. I'm really proud of you, brother.
Thanks.
No, JJ, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can I just say this, guys? About drug talk. How do I put it? You're probably better off at that.
So we've just got to be mindful in the chat and everything that why we're
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
So, like, even any, I mean, you know, cannabis, we go, it's only cannabis, but what we've got to be mindful of is there might be somebody in here who's trying to stay off cannabis.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
we've
it.
got to be
Yeah.
careful that
And
we're not
and
triggering
we could
anybody.
be triggering
or-
people, guys.
Yeah.
So, can I ask respectfully that we
That's
try
it. Not to mention it.
to cut any kind of drug talk down like that, please?
unless you're struggling and
And I felt
want help.
uncomfortable saying that, man. But you know what? At least I had the ability to go.
I think that's also in the guidelines of the YouTube community to protect your viewers from that sort of
Yeah.
exposure and not promote drug use. I think that's
Yeah.
part of policy. So you're doing
It's
a
okay,
wise
mate.
thing.
Smokey, you don't need to be sorry, my mate. Honest. Listen, do you know what, Smokey? I'm fucking. Do you know what? If I was, I'd been West and all that, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'd have been more graphic. What? It's it's
No,
it's no biggie, mate.
It was nothing bad, but we just need to be careful with this being an addiction and mental health site that we just keep that to a minimum.
That's it.
It's
So
no biggie, brother. I
it's
promise you,
nothing
man.
like bad.
It's no
Do you
biggie,
know
mate.
what I mean? We just need to, like, because I know some people do watch in the background as well, and
Also,
if people are struggling with cannabis, you know, we just need to
not mention it.
be.
But
mindful
anyway,
of that.
swiftly moving on, guys. Because again, for me, you know, I love listening to people's stories. You know, if it involves drug taking or not, you know, I
I think
believe.
it's just that beating all the odds, and for me, that's really, really powerful.
And I believe I know you a bit more now, Chris,
You
as
know,
well.
when you face any kind of adversity, whether
Yeah.
it's with your mental health, your child, you know, any kind of adversity,
yeah.
and you overcome that, and for
Just
me,
turn the
that's
camera
just
off a minute, guys.
just so
Well,
powerful.
Yeah.
I'd me and teased fucking days for days, you lot. But yeah, you know, I feel as though I know you a little bit more, Chris. You know, and that's like the first proper discussion like you've had why I've been here anyway, or on any live. But even the little discussions that you did have, I had that feeling that I liked you, and I know why now. I know why, mate. The sale, you know, human beings, we attract like-minded people.
True, because let me tell you, Torps, I'm a Gemini. I'm like cusp. I'm from.
No wonder I like you, Evie. No,
Hey!
I like you, Evie, because do you know what? You know, you're open, you're honest, and you tell it how it is, Evie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It
don't
might be
do
ugly.
fake because it's a waste of time and energy. I don't do fake.
Oh, man,
Not-
mate. It might be ugly at times, Evie, but at least you're truth to you, and at least you
This
tell
is
it how it is.
It doesn't take much for me to start regularly being like makeup, teeth, nails done, and then I look how I want to look. It's no biggie, but I am 55 and I'm making the point by doing this as well because I have severe disability no matter what police says, because I had the outcome today from an investigation by the Prison and Probation Service about me wanting a retrial or saying that they have done something untoward by lying in a pre-sentence report to the Crown prosecution. And I had the email today and I got quite upset, you know. Because they say there is nothing to uphold because they point the finger to the false reports of Sussex Police. And then we are back to me contacting you guys about the right assistance to sue Sussex Police for making slanderous allegations and omitting psychiatric report because I was sectioned in the Priory after swearing at the council. So they omitted that so they could present me as a normal person, and they claim I feign my disabilities, I'm a druggie, I'm vindictive, spiteful, a danger to my peers, to vulnerable people, I target minority groups, and I'm also a danger to children. So that is sorry. That document. That I've got an echo.
JJ, you there?
Yeah, someone just rang me and I could hear in the background Evie's voice.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't know if you
What's my
want.
number?
I don't know if you want to pop back out, JJ.
Yeah, I'd like to know how this person got my number, to be honest.
Straight back, man.
So yeah, obviously, I made complaints about the way I was treated by Sussex Police since 2014 related to my department worker pension claim and my lifelong residency, because police attended too many times to my flat in Hastings, 15 times, and put the CCTV van outside, and my landlord grew sick of it and ended my lifelong tenancy. And then I presented myself to Hastings Council as homeless, and they said I had no entitlement as EU national to housing, even though I had. And Amber Rudd was Secretary of State and also my MP, and also became Department of Work Pension Minister. So I was well fucked, wasn't I? And my ex is with a police officer now, but then he was writing with his mother and father to the Department of Work Pension and Council and saying that I was a legal immigrant, got no rights or benefits on foreign. In fact, still today, they put that on their Facebook post, even though they're 70-something years old, that foreigners shouldn't get benefits in the UK and things like that, you know. So I linked it all up, and I complained to Sussex Police repeatedly, and also Independent Police Commission, Complaint Commission, and they always came back rebuffed that they do not uphold my complaint. So it's got me quite down that I had been for such a long time sending emails and also to the Belgian embassy and thing, and they get open 300 times, some of them, because I track them, and they get read and attention paid to, but the result is that they all tell me and point a finger and give me links to complain and sue the police. So yes, I again need your help, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, respect. And do you know what else I identified with as well, Chris? Is, believe it or not so much now, but I used to find it hard to communicate and build relationships with other human beings, strangers, even family that I'd never met. Do you know what I mean? I used to find it hard to build them relationships and communicate.
Exactly.
What else I identified with as well was getting set up for crimes that I hadn't done from a young age as well, mate. You know, it's fucking. It's
the thing is, people sometimes think you're a wrong un, or they think you're not a wrong un, because that's the wrong word to use.
No, but people who don't break the law, though, Chris. Sorry to interrupt. People who don't break the law, class people who do break the law as wrong uns. Wrong to us is a different kind of thing, but
That's
yeah,
it,
I get you, mate.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry, Chris.
Yeah. The thing is, they think you're strange because you don't jump straight in and you're all loving and everything else. Like, we've been on here like 2 years before I'd even go in chats. And then I'd only go in chats to watch. And it's not until, you know, you come live and we decided to come on and chat. But it's strange. It takes more building of trust, mate. Once you've gone through all that, and when you're autistic, communication is the key. It's not, you can't communicate. Some people really struggle to communicate, go out and do things, communicate, go on buses, be around people, things like that. But people don't take that into consideration, just think you're being funny.
I couldn't even get on the bus, mate.
No.
I couldn't get on that bus, man. I used to have to go to my doctors, like for medication. It was sleeping tablets and antidepressants that I had to go for. Looking back, I should have just been getting them delivered. But anyway, so it was bad weather, lashing down. I couldn't get on that bus, right? Pay the bus driver my money and then turn to my right, and everyone looks as though everyone sat there now. I couldn't do it, mate. I couldn't do it.
No. Well, I also suffer with acute sensitivity. And basically, if I'm in a place like a bus and there's people talking, it gets louder and louder and echoes, and it drums through your head and starts throwing your head into a frenzy. Like a supermarket or anything like that. If there's people talking, they could be at the other end of the store and they'd hear every word they said. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I have to come out of that situation quick because you just go tunnel vision now.
I would say that's an ability, but it affects you badly. Normally, you would be like highly empathic or aware, or you can read people. But because your anxiety puts you in overdrive and you're hyperventilating and all these chemicals in your brain, they block you from being an actually gifted person.
That's it. I've got to the point where it's actually made me blind. I've not been able to see because
traumatic blindness can happen.
You can't hear as well. When partners calm me down, you just can't even hear. Don't know what's going on.
Trauma. Yeah.
There is some videos on YouTube if anybody wants to go and have a look on hypersensitivity, and it actually shows you somebody walking through, and it shows you the effects and the sounds that they hear.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy, to be honest.
But do you know what I'd do as well? Sorry, Chris, carry on, mate. Sorry.
No, go on, mate. I'm done.
So do you know what I'd do as well, right? I'd know that I'm going to the doctors. I know that I have to go and get these prescriptions, right? And what I'd do is I'd smoke cannabis on top of it. Do you know what I mean? And that, for me, was just making my fucking full situation worse. Do you know what I mean? Because then it wasn't just wanting to go up. It wasn't, I couldn't get out. I've got you, JJ. It wasn't that I couldn't get on the bus. I couldn't fucking get out the front door, mate. Never mind out the fucking out on the bus.
Yeah.
Audible, man. Audible.
That's why I don't go very far, to be honest with you. At the moment, I've got to control that somehow. Because if I get myself into a situation like in a built-up area, I could throw a wobble in. Then it takes it out on you for weeks, not just a day. You start suffering them effects for days after and weeks. And it makes you tired. You want to go to sleep. It's horrible. But it is something that's widely out there. And people know about it. I just thought I was going crazy at first.
Exactly.
But obviously, as time goes on, you realise by watching other people with the same as what you've got.
Yeah.
That's how I sorted the panic attacks out. I watched other people having panic attacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it did it for me, and now they dealt with them.
They dealt with it. Well, I. Go on, mate. I think you're amazing.
YouTube's great for stuff like that.
YouTube's amazing for a lot of different things.
You can learn a lot from watching the right stuff. Yeah. You can learn a lot.
You're not one for reading, are you?
I'm not one for reading, so I can't. I don't read. I can get into the first 4 or 5 lines and then my head's gone. So normally I like to visualise it. I get talking books and things like
We're
that.
definitely brothers, me and you.
Yeah, we are.
Swear to God we're brothers because I can't. Reading does my bread box in.
My dad did get about a bit, mate.
Couple of lines and that's it. And my head is all over the top. It takes me about 6 months to get through even a paperback, if I can. And that was only when I was in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You learn more by listening, don't you? And you know, watching certain things, and you learn and get by.
Well, that's
A
important.
psychiatrist once said to me, "I think you know more than you think because of
Yeah.
your experiences in life."
So visual aspect, what is important?
Exactly.
Symbols. Like
Visual stimuli.
I have a carer who's never been on the internet, and he doesn't know all the symbols. Like on the apps, I've got him a smartphone thing, set it up, and he doesn't. Symbols and visuals, they teach us a lot, and they link things in our brain easier. So you've got an icon that says at. So we are familiar with at. So you put at somewhere, and you know what that means. It's attached.
See you later, Denmark. Sorry, Evie. Sorry, I just need to say see you later, Denmark. I do apologize.
Are you very nice to your viewers, aren't you? Yeah, because if you've got a visual thing like a YouTube video and you soak it in and you watch it a few times, then you can do that then, you know. Also, if you know the problem, what you're having, you can place it and then you can overcome it because you've given it something in your mind, a reality, and know how to deal with it. It doesn't have to mean you run to a doctor or anything, or you can actually go to the shop and sort yourself out with the natural things or equivalent to sort yourself out, which I did with valerian as an 18-year-old. I couldn't sleep, and valerian root you could just buy in these exotic shops. So you soak that overnight, you drink it next day in the evening, and you just knock out. It's like your natural Valium. Why don't they tell that to people with addictions? Because they're not allowed to, because the psychopharmacy companies, the big pharma, the ones that produce now vaccines and things. So these pills need to sell. So they don't want you to go to the health food store and buy valerian root and soak it overnight and have it as a Valium in the evening. You see that?
Go on, Evie. Yeah, I've enjoyed it again this morning. I've got to say I've enjoyed it. And JJ, I knew for a fact you'd be saying that, you know, that we're brothers, and I knew that for a fact that you'd have loads of identification going on. And,
Yeah.
you know,
you can relate to someone. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
When you said at the end, I haven't. When Chris said at the end, I haven't done drugs, never. I haven't done alcohol, and that's good, mate. Because you know what? I don't know the figures, but when we have trauma like that in our lives, Chris, that a lot of people, it's a high percentage of people that when we have drama like that in our lives, we do tend to drink, or we do tend to.
That's it. I mean, in our communities, like here down south, in our charities and street workers, we tend to not use the word drug no more. We use self-medication because we changed it from first drug use to drug abuse, and then we changed it to self-medication, which stops the stigma on people. You get me?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
I can understand it, so you know, if it went for Amanda and meeting there, I would probably be on.
Yeah. Say that again. I was head all over. I was.
Sorry, he said he probably would have been on him if it weren't for me.
Do you know what it is? I'm glad you've just said that, because
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I identify with what you said about you know, Amanda coming into your life, and
that's true.
They have to rein him in.
You know what?
I think we've got our work cut out, Amanda. Gluttons for punishment.
Mate, I've had nearly 30 years of this.
Go on. No, but what it is I identify. I say all the time, and I've said it for fucking well before I come in here.
Yeah.
I didn't meet Mel, or if I didn't feel the way I do about Mel, i.e. I didn't love her the way I do.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be asked. I'd be off doing my own thing. And if she stayed, she stayed. And if she never, it'd be just one of them. But definitely believe if I didn't meet her, I would have been fucking dead by now. If not dead, I'd have been in prison doing a long sentence for hurting some fucker.
Probably what you do.
I felt exactly the same way about Mike Tyson.
I know that in my head, in my heart, JJ. I know it. I know that 100% fact. I'd have rather been dead from misadventure,
But I think JJ's
or
made a
maybe
good-
suicide. Wait, sorry, let me do. Or I'd have been in fucking. I'd have had bad violence to someone. Go on, sorry, babe.
I'm just saying, I think JJ's made a good point there because it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship that
No.
gives you that person, you know, JJ's enticing that
Go
unconditional
on now,
love,
mate.
you know, and I just think that's important to note for people in the chat. It doesn't necessarily have to be that romantic relationship. It's just that something that will give you purpose.
Yeah,
And
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
that unconditional love as well.
go on. That's right, isn't it?
Relationships are hard work for me. I've never met anyone as strong or as beautiful as Amanda or Mel, to be honest. And hopefully, maybe one day that would happen. But
My mother, Marlo.
it's only lasted a few years, you know, that kind of thing. And then we can't handle each other, to be honest, and it all ends up breaking up.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll meet someone who loves me for who I am and not for what they think I am.
We do.
Exactly.
We all love you for who
Oh, I
you
know
are.
that, but I mean, in
Oh,
a different kind of relationship with a woman I can do things with. I can't necessarily do things with you, talk to a man. You know exactly what I mean, son.
you've got a weird words, you've got a weird words.
You know, because there's other interests in relationships, as we all know. Let's not hide the facts.
That's it,
Oh, JJ, do you know what, mate? You've got a fucking big heart, mate. You have.
You do,
You fucking
yeah.
have, brother. You know what I mean? And I like how you said Amanda and Mel, but there's a lot of people like Amanda and Mel, and especially in here.
There is.
Come in this.
There is.
That come in here. He is, man. You know.
Through soulmate, I think through soulmates is a journey, and you got to get to that journey before you actually really get one. Because along that journey, I thought every single one of them was my soulmate, but it didn't end up that way. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't end that way. But, you know, I can see it here with you guys. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's not a jealousy or an envy. It's actually a wish that one day that would happen, maybe.
Yeah.
But at the moment...
There's a lot of work put into that sort of bond and being a team member in a relationship and not pulling on the wheel. Because if you're in a relationship, you're a team and you can't pull on the wheel because the car goes off the road. You see that?
Yeah. Evie talks a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
Well, like I said, my little Tyson gives me that open and strength.
Say again, sorry, JJ.
I said my little Tyson gives me that open, that strength, and that reason to get up off my arse every day to go for a walk, to see the forest. I mean, God, admit, I was seriously ill before I got Tyson, and now I'm just seriously ill. You get what I mean? You understand that?
Yeah.
I've got these illnesses, but I don't look at them as illnesses now. I look at them as blessings because they've got me up off my arse, out with my little boy, and I'm using them as a positive. See, all these negatives that happen in our life, even illnesses, we can look at as positives, even the mental illness. You know, you've got to learn to love these things rather than hate them and fight against them, because the more you fight, the iller you get.
Isn't it? JJ's talks a lot of sense as well.
If you, as a woman, at one point at a certain age, become your best friend, your own best friend, if you've looked after yourself in the depths of despair alone and you struggle through hard on your own, then when you start to appreciate yourself and become your best friend, then nothing much what other people do or say affects you because you've got a strong backing team yourself.
So very true that, Evie. A lot of people don't really, I don't know.
You really have to love yourself and appreciate how you got here. That you have to admire your past self, what you've been through, you know what I mean? And now.
And dogs are good humans.
Yeah, dogs are as good as humans.
That's the one.
That's another reason why I've got a couple of them out here.
They are. I think they're the best in humanity.
Yeah.
Well, they don't talk back to you, do they?
No. I tell you what, though, I do believe that my dog has powers because he tells me when he's hungry. He only has to look at me, and I'm sure he talks into my head. And I don't think that's schizophrenia. I actually believe he can do it.
They have a way because they're not talking. They have a way to tell you with eyes and gestures.
I know.
They're
amazing, aren't they?
They use body language.
I think when you've got that bond with a dog, you can communicate with them.
No,
I believe that. I believe that.
So when I talk to my cat, and my cat finds that frustrating because he knows that I know what he wants, but he mouths it at me. When I say, like, food, is it ding-dings? And he actually smacks his lips and mouths at me, he wants the food. He doesn't talk, he doesn't say meow because he knows it's pointless, because he knows exactly that I know what he wants. But that mouth thing is really cute. I film it sometimes, yeah.
And Buster just goes and gets his ball and brings it to you.
Does it? Yeah.
Right. Yesterday I was doing a stupid video over the bushes with with something, and he just looks at me, Tyson, and I heard in my head, "Oh, were you doing that again, you stupid?" I heard that in my head with the way he was looking at me. It was just a look, as if to say, "Oh, for God's sake, stop it! You come and want to go home."
It was nearly with subtitles, wasn't it?
Really weird.
Yeah.
I love it though.
So JJ, were you here at the start? Were you here and had all Chris's?
Every bit of it, it was amazing.
Amazing, you know, yeah, so brave to come through that.
And
Amazing stuff.
did you identify with a lot of that?
Yeah, loads of it. Well, we've led different paths, but the actual thoughts and feelings and the stuff behind it are very, very much the same. I mean, we had a talk on Your Addiction Live before. Remember that one we had privately? And everything Chris said, it was just. I mean, I could relate to every single bit. It was like he was talking about me. I couldn't. It was unbelievable. I never thought there was someone out there who had sort of the exact conditions that I had. And I've been labelled with all this split personality stuff. And guys, you really got to know that's not real. There's not really many recorded cases of true split personality in history. Split personality is this: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Jesus. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John do not even know each other, but Jesus knows them all. That's what real personality, split personality is. You ever seen the film Split? Have you seen The Exorcist even?
Yeah.
That is what split personality is. It's not like you've got a personality, and next minute you feel different with a personality, because split personality is you've got all these different people living inside you and they don't know each other.
That's it.
And there's not many recorded cases in the whole of history that have really had that condition. But some people that they try and diagnose you with that because they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. If they go in front of a top psychologist or a top psychiatrist, he tells you the truth, which we have been, obviously. That is. So if they're trying to label you with that, trust me, you ain't got that. You'd be in a nut. Put it this way: you'd be in a nut house under psychiatric treatment as criminally insane if you had that. So don't listen to some of these people because they don't know what they're talking about.
When it comes to accountability, if someone has lots of personalities, they can't even be tried as a criminal. They have to be in that special hospital where there's 24-hour-7 lookup, isn't it? If you've got a murderer that has got multiple personalities, then next minute he can't be tried for it because he's a different person.
Quite freaky, but I'll have to remember what it is and find it for you to watch.
Odd, isn't it?
Purple Split. See you later, Purple Split. Take it easy. Have a great day.
Easy, mate. I hope you're all right. I haven't spoken to you for ages, actually. I hope you're all right, brother. I like Purple Split. He's got a good soul, Purple Split. I'm spoken to him for absolutely ages, so I hope he's okay. I wonder where he's been.
Yeah, Purple Split's a lovely bloke. Bloke.
Isn't he? I know, JJ, I know. Exactly. You get that feeling, don't you, about people, mate? You know what I mean? Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just tell you, Paul had a lie-in this morning, so he started late. But it's all right, Paul. You can always rewind later on.
Yeah.
We keep them all up.
That's it. There's nothing scandalous in there.
Exactly. It's not as if it's,
I must say this morning, I woke up and I had a lot less channels I subscribed to because of certain chats and issues last night. It was a revelation. I'm not going to mention it here because you don't bring that in here, but yeah.
Anyone got anything they want to discuss in the chat, guys?
No, I just feel really privileged today to have
listened to that.
Listened to that story. It takes a lot of great strength. I feel privileged.
Well, it's all about sharing, isn't it? Maybe it inspires somebody else. Maybe to think about that.
Done exactly the way it should be done as well, without detail, but explaining.
Well, it's
what went on. He done it perfectly. It was great. Big
Yeah,
respect.
you don't have to mention names or refer to, what happened, but, you can say
Well,
Exactly. And
how
it's
you
important to
feel about
remember
it.
these labels that they're put upon us are not true. They can't put people like us in categories. They're labels. They try to put any kind of label on you and make you believe it. When I found out that was a load of crap, that was when my whole life changed.
Because you
You know?
get pigeonholed and they sort of, they target you with medication and rules in like me community order. And I found out it's like really like getting on a list. Like every
See you
week,
later, Graham.
probation calls me once a week, and every 4 weeks a doorstep visit because I'm medically shielding. I'm just like blown away of all their effort into doing that for me. Why couldn't they prevent it and do all this and investigate if I was really entitled to UK benefits and if I was severely disabled? I would have never sworn at the council if they would have put that effort into it. So it's left me a bit ill this morning, but I'm sure that I'm going to laugh about it tonight when I
Excellent.
recognise that it's again Sussex police lying to the courts that brought me into this sort of. It's an effort to just get it off my name, I'm not a criminal. I'm just not very well at times, you know what I mean?
I know. The system and the way it works, Evie, I
I
tell
should
you.
be thriving, darling. I've got 21,000 in a nice sort of investments in Portuguese land. But I'm not. I'm downtrodden. I'm just sat here after the trial doing this endless email campaign, and instead of thriving and going out and doing having my hair done and going to a dentist, I'm just sit here doing the bloody emails on convincing. When it's injustice, you want to get it right, and then you do the effort, and all they tell you is, yeah, the police, you've got to sue them or have them investigated again. But I've been doing that for years. So.
Frustrating, though, isn't it?
You're dealing with members of the Crown Service, the police is, and the council is, and the probation commission is, and they all investigate each other, and they say they've got nothing to answer to. That's cool.
And that's the way it always has been and always
I'm
will
very
be.
tired from it today because I found the email yesterday. Yes, I recognise that, Torbs. This is just how the game is played. We're just puppets on a string for them, aren't they?
Yeah.
They know before they interview me like 4 different people, 1 hour on the phone, but before they write the report, they know they're going to not uphold it because I am complaining to a service that was lied to by Sussex Police. Yeah, I know that, but I'm complaining to you, and you're part of that service. And they go, no, we're just members of the Crown, service of the Crown, because we deal with you when you are punished. But the people that made sure you were punished were lying to us. And you just go round and round my head, you know what I mean?
I know, mate, I know. Bastards.
I'll get there by tonight. I'm happy again,
Of course you'll get
Why are they pursuing you, Evie? Why are they driving you mad?
I'm a Belgian in the UK, and I won a tribunal against the Department of Work pension. I didn't have Social Security for 7 years or NHS, but I'm severely disabled. So I had my DLA, which is a tidy over for benefits and an add-on, and I had it as a premium, £280 a month. Now listen to this. First they make me homeless and say I got no entitlement to housing. And then after I get social housing, when I move to town and I try it on in Eastbourne, and I do it all myself, bidding on social housing, putting myself in Airbnbs, going to the council, getting that B&B paid for. And, I live here, and they take, on the day that I make the claim for universal credit, because I live here, everything away from me. Apart from the premium, which is £218 a month, and no word of a lie, I had to live on that for another 3.5 years until I got the tribunal, which overturned everything, and then give me backdated, not compensation. I got £200 sorry money for when they got it wrong, but I had been deprived from NHS and Social Security for 7 years, hence I'm a bit of a wreck. But if I've got that money in the account, why am I still downtrodden? It's because I'm going round and round in my head trying to get this criminality sentence for my mental health, which is illegal in the UK anyway. I have to be deferred away from the criminal justice because I am mentally unsound. I've been certified. I have 18 years. I was sectioned in Belgium, not in one go, but I spent in these Magdalene laundries because, my stepdad was abusing me. He was a millionaire, and they had my daughter taken away. I had a story that is portrayed in films and books, and I didn't want no connection They kept naming me. They kept saying Evie, EVV, and related to me, and it drove me quite balmy because I didn't get no justice in Belgium. I ran to the UK for help, and I got it. And I got in a mental hospital here like twice, and they give me dignity and homeopathic remedies by a house doctor. And I live here 26 years, quite happy, apart from when in
Well, then you're entitled to everything that anyone else gets if you've lived here that
I'm
long.
like your
You're now an
pensioner.
English national.
I
If you're an
am
English
now.
national,
I
you're
am
entitled to everything that
everything.
everyone else gets.
I've got long-term residency permit in
Exactly.
1998, and I lived here 5 years on comprehensive health insurance and Belgian
Exactly.
DLA. And then what happened was I applied and I got it, and Theresa May on the Windrush destroyed all these documents. So it was the Home Office responsibility to give my long-term residency permit to the Department of Work and Pension. But that doesn't mean they have to hound me and starve me out of house and home and make me fed up. I mean, I must love East Sussex to live in Hastings and Eastbourne 26 years. And then
Got family up there.
so it's beautiful here. I have to walk 4 streets and I'm on a shingle beach, and there's Beachy Head, the suicide hotspot of the world, sorry to say it. And there's Hastings, where it's like 1066 country with a castle that's still standing, and all the people that are deprived live there. I'm not joking. 45% is on income support.
Yeah, I know. I've got a family that live in
There
Hastings.
you go. So Hastings and St Leonard's, they have got patron saint St Leonard's, who's the patron saint of lunatics. I
So
couldn't have
you are an English national for over 26 years. You said, yeah.
Well, I am a Belgian national with EU rights
But
here.
you've lived in England for over 26 years. That which gives you a dual passport.
Well, I have
After a certain amount of years, you have a dual passport, meaning that you have all the same entitlements in the UK as that you do have in your country of origin.
Well, yes, I know.
So you now
I
have
don't
those.
have to have your nationality to be entitled.
Exactly. So you've got them entitlements, and they're not giving you them. Then
No,
that's wrong.
They have now. But I'm
You had
still
to fight for them.
Yeah, and I had to fight, and because I'm a bit of a frazzle while I'm doing it, like on the 5th of November 2019, I won the tribunal, but I was arrested that day because I sworn to the council when they said I wasn't severely disabled and I wasn't entitled to my legacy benefit for council tax exemption, which I am, but it's not upheld, and they used a fictitious note of a GP saying I'm not severely disabled mentally. And why would and the GP said he never signed that letter? So why did the psychiatric report get omitted to the courts? And why is the police saying I'm a druggie that feigns mental illness?
Oh, actually, I can't get council tax exemption. Even with my mental illnesses, I've tried.
We used to have.
They wouldn't give me that, and I'm born and bred here, and I am a registered schizophrenic. But they still, you have to be in a home. You have to be actually in the mental house and certain things like that, and have severe disability. You ain't got a clue what you're doing, and you can't function. You can't make your own food. You can't live in your own flat. That's when you become exempt from council tax. Otherwise, you don't. You're a functioning schizophrenic, in other words.
I recognise that, but before universal credit, I had a legacy benefit, which is council tax benefit. And then, when they changed it to universal credit, they changed that system that you now mentioned, because getting a bit tired and can't keep track of what's said. So I challenged that, and I said I was entitled to my legacy benefit, and I swore at the person who denied it to me. And then they come and arrested me. And that's why I was in court in the 1st of December 2021, after being sectioned 4 weeks and then waiting for the trial to happen. And I pleaded guilty because they had evidence of me being angry. And my counsel said that I should do that because they was going to deport me for hate crimes to the Crown because I'm an EU national, and it would give me 1 year effective sentence for it and deport me.
Okay.
But I'm mentally not well. So, I offended the law and I said I'm guilty, and they criminalized me. And I only got 1 year probation, which I'm not deportable. And I have this monitoring going on of my weekly phone calls and 4 weekly doorstabs because they're monitoring if I might reoffend, because they said there's a high risk that if someone says something untowards to me, I might do that again. So yeah, I said I wouldn't be in that position if your Crown and your British government departments wouldn't have abused me and called me an illegal immigrant in documents for the last 7 years. So they can commit in the government department hate crimes and racism and discrimination for disability, saying I'm not a suitable person, I have no right to live in the UK, and I'm an illegal EU national. That's not true. That doesn't even exist, that term. It's been a heavy sandwich and I'm quite run down, people. And it's just one email and I'll bounce back because, you know, I should be thriving. Like I said, I'm not though.
Yeah, don't let them grind you down, man.
And
Because that's what they want. They want to grind you down and make you go wavy. That's what they want.
That's it. I mean, I feel like phoning the Priory and said, "Can you take me in for a week or two?" You know, I shouldn't because I've got a pussycat and I've got a lovely flat and good neighbours and a good carer. But I feel so like I've battled 2 months with emails and documents and proof and talking to people, and I'm like so disappointed that. Yeah, I can go on Facebook and I make jokes about Sussex police and scandalise them. Well, I don't get done for it because it's not malicious communication. I take the piss out of them locally and I tag them and you know.
Okay, I'll catch you later, guys. I've got to go all of a sudden. So I'll catch you later. God bless you. Yeah, ta guys. God bless you. God bless you. Lots of love.
Yeah, when it comes to mental health and you see people go through it, well, that's me today. I'm really evidence of I'm not fucking functioning like this today, mate, because you really took the rug from underneath my feet. I know they haven't, but it feels like it mentally.
Yeah.
You're battling you're fighting like a Don Quixote, the Crown, who keeps defending themselves, saying we can get away with it, missus. What about that?
I know.
It's frustrating though, isn't it? The massive paper trail, and you've got to have this, that, the other. Drives you nuts.
And every time they want you to do your story to these interviewees because they want to know your youth and they're psychological criminal profilers, and they still come out with the conclusion with saying the same thing. If the police lies to the courts, you got to sue the police. Makes complete sense, but it does demotivate me. Sorry to say, Anna.
That's what they want. So Tyrant said to UK, I haven't got it. I don't know if you put the dot because when I'm typing on it seems as though you can't see the dot. So the email address, all lowercase, Tyrant said to UK is T for Tango, O for Oscar, dot, R for Romeo, B for Bravo at yahoo.com, brother. Yeah, if you send me that email over, saying that I can use some of your content, I'll do you a shout out video, brother. Anyone else got anything they wanna talk about? I like the email I got off you, Amanda. When did you send that? You or Chris?
I think it was this morning. I don't know.
Yeah, I've just seen it.
About it and I remembered.
It's a good idea though, isn't it? We've done that before, like on other channels. You know, and then once you shut it down, so if I shut this, if I end the broadcast now, then us, whoever's on the panel, will be backstage and we can talk openly and nobody else can hear it, just us three.
Yeah, that's a good option, isn't it? Yeah, you use StreamYard away from YouTube then, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people do it as a private conversation because
the
rules and etc.
I understand.
YouTube, They do that and then obviously sometimes come back onto the live or whatever
I see.
to protect, the channel person, whatever.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. Yeah, me and Michael, me and you, New Yorkshire were communicating like that about a week and a half ago.
That's a really good thing, yeah.
But he kept losing himself, so then I had to keep opening another laugh and waiting for him to come back. And other people were coming in thinking it was a laugh. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's annoying, isn't it? Yeah, when you shut a window, it's gone.
Yeah, I do that myself all the time.
I bet you do.
His phone had been took, hadn't it?
Obviously.
From Manchester. That's the only way we could communicate properly. I hope you're well, Graham. Well, aye, mate. When's the missus and the Baba coming home then? The missus and the baby?
I'm not sure if they are home because he said.
Are they home?
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But he did say.
Sorry if I've missed any of the chat. You know what I'm like. I'm
I
gormless.
think he said like morning from Princess. Can't remember.
Yeah. I
Room.
seen that. Good morning from I seen that.
So maybe they are home. Not sure. Hopefully they are anyway, and everybody's well.
Look at that. I had to bounce through the feed. Go on, yo. Respect. Giving the missus a rest as well.
I wonder if
And-
he's got
and
one of
that
fake
bonding.
boots.
You know what I mean? Double-edged sword, isn't it? There, you know what I mean? Giving the missus a break and bonding with the baby, man. Respect. You know what I mean? Because some fathers don't do hands-on like that.
We had to. We can't. With my son, you know, Chris sort of did some of the daytime stuff while I were asleep because obviously I were up and down all night, 24/7 for 6 months.
Yeah.
I know, and I bet that takes a lot out of you, Amanda. You know what
Well,
I
it
mean?
is when you've got 2 kids, you've got to take to school, bring back, feed them, sort the the clothes out, all the rest.
Yeah.
Of
You know, it's like when we first it was manageable because when they went to sleep in the afternoon, I could have a nap. But then when it was Bailey and I had a toddler running about, it was like you just didn't have that option. So it was like running on empty half the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It
Hopefully
seems to have flown by that time. It did, but yeah, and when I had the girls, we were 10.5 months between them two, so that were a bit of a nightmare. To start with.
Get on with my day, people. It was loving talking to you.
Yeah, it's
Evie,
Evie.
have a good day, Evie, and don't let the bastards, excuse my French.
I'm going to find my teeth. I'm going to make myself happy and find my teeth. Yeah.
Go on, mate. Listen, don't let them grind you down, Evie, man.
It is a bit hard today, but I'll get there. Thanks for your support.
Take care.
You're more than welcome, Evie. You're more than welcome, mate.
Proper warrior lady right there.
She is, and she don't let them grind you down, mate.
I'll get there.
Well, I respect Evie. I like Evie. She talks this, she tells you how it is, man, and respect Evie, and she's got a fucking fight on her hands by the sounds of it, do you know what I mean?
Well, I think she's had a bit of a roller coaster ride of life as well, you know what I mean? Been, mistreated and then obviously passed over here and accepted and then not accepted, and sounds a bit like Boris, doesn't it? Accept you, don't accept you, don't give you this, take that. And at the end of the day, you've got to fight for everything. It's hard work, it does grind down. I get it. I've got a file full of stuff for Kai, on the fighting and the stuff that I've had to do to get somewhere to, to even push forward. And it does, and you think you're losing the battle, and then, when all of a sudden something else comes and you've got to deal with, and it's just never ending. Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Outlaw. Are you just getting yourself back into workish? Bless you. But yeah, you're a true fighter, Evie. You've got a lot of love for you and a lot of respect. For sure.
Oh no, I bet it's exhausting.
It is.
Exhausting.
Constant draining, when you've got to read something, process it, and then think of how to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? It's even that in itself is a lot to take on. And then, me personally, I have to sort of sit back and think about what I want to say, how to say it, and get the best reaction possible with little saying. Because I find if I get a letter 3 pages long, I'm like, read first bit, and it's like I'm losing the battle of reading it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I'd sooner say it all straight away, get it over and done with, job done.
It's a nightmare, isn't it? Hate paperwork, but it seems endless with anything you want to do at the moment.
Exactly. And everything's not back to normal, even though they say it is. Even doctors. I don't know anybody personally that actually had face-to-face appointments. Only the odd few. It's all over the phone. I mean, how can they diagnose you with something over the phone?
I know, and unfortunately, my sister was misdiagnosed for months. Kept putting it down to kidney infections and water infections, and just kept been given antibiotics for months. It turned out when she had enough and she was in excruciating pain, phoned an ambulance, and then by the time she got diagnosed, she was stage 4 and nothing could be done.
Yeah, it's not good, is it, at all?
Because you can't diagnose things over the phone properly.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did that with Chris's mum. She was 46 when she passed away, but they misdiagnosed her and told her she got arthritis and that, and it was all in the legs, with bones and things. But again, that many years ago, there wasn't the stuff that we've got now. I mean, it's...
They probably know now.
Yeah, they probably
now.
Well, yeah, they probably would know now. But, it's a traumatic experience.
And everything else. All cancer patients are putting on vaccine.
Yeah.
They're not even getting treated.
I know.
Awful.
I know, it's disgusting.
It is.
But anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
I don't want to be thinking about that today because I'll be like,
No, we'll not go down that road. But you are looking a little bit better today, Mrs. Thorpe.
feeling still not 100%.
No, I can imagine. You do look better than you did yesterday.
It's proper taking its toll on me. This, usually if I've had gastroenteritis a couple of days and I'm fine, but this has lasted days.
Thing is, I think, when you run down yourself, things do seem to linger on a bit, don't they? When you're busy and you're not catching up with yourself and getting enough sleep and all the rest of it,
I know it's been a bit of a nightmare, but I'm on annual leave next week as well, so I've got plenty of time to get myself.
Yeah.
Got to phone me manager on Friday because she said that if I'm still ill, I can't have holidays. It has to be sick.
All right.
I don't know. I'll probably just tell her I'm all right and hope for the best.
Yeah. Fingers crossed you'll be all right.
Otherwise, it'll be like massively complicated and do my head in. And
yeah, we don't like complications. It's one of these in life, don't we? All of
it. Exactly. But everybody tries to complicate the life out of it. It drives me insane.
It does. The root of all evil, money. We need it to live, pay his bills, but it can be,
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous.
Exactly. Definitely.
Right. Well, guys, I think I will shut this down now because I know he's got that premiere set up for 12, and I'll go and grab a coffee and get some toast.
The coffee in a bag.
What was that, sorry?
He says it sounds a good idea, a coffee in a bag.
Yeah, and I haven't had out to eat yet, so I'm going to try and have some toast as well.
Good stuff. Well, I'll jump off here and let you say your business, and I'll probably catch you a little bit later. Thank you very much for today.
You're more than welcome, and thank you, guys. For me, it was really powerful.
Yeah.
Overcoming all the odds, so to speak. So thank you, guys.
Okay, lots of love, everybody. Take care.
Take care. Right, guys. He's on the phone for now, so I'll just say goodbye to you all from me and him, and hopefully we'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight. All right, guys. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.